So this is my infrared filter. It's a 950 nanometer long pass infrared filter. Blocks visible and lets infrared through basically. I'll be putting that on the front of the camera, and then I'll switch the camera to night shot mode. You'll be amazed, just watch. Wow, look at that. Isn't that incredible? This green tint is default and I cannot change it, but in Photoshop or Adobe Premiere, I'll be changing it. So this looks much better. Desaturated the clip and adjusting contrast. And you'll see me adjusting contrast throughout the clips.
That's like, wow. Just blew away through all that haze. That's just incredible.
Now in the foreground, this mountain is Mount Charleston. Behind it is the Nevada test site. Now you can see Groom Lake and Papoose Lake to the left. Just incredible. Look at that. The mountain range in the back, I identified on the map at about 200 miles out. Look at that. Just take it all in. This is incredible. Just incredible. That banding of the atmosphere, something else, isn't it? Just look at that. Look how far we can see. In the foreground, that's Las Vegas right there. That strip is to the right. That's the Pahrump Valley, I guess. Charles. This is what it looks like invisible. Looking out the window, lots of haze, and you'll see here a little bit of turn the camera to night shot mode. Then I'll put the infrared filter on. See how it clarifies. Here we go. Look at that, and then I'll be adjusting the saturation and contrast. Much better. In the foreground, we see Lake Mead over there to the left. So let me see it. I didn't zoom in on it. Then you can see it right there. Yep, I can see it. So we're zooming out to the horizon. Look at that. Wow. Here I just adjusted contrast again. camera I'm using is a Sony Sony HDR AX53. It can zoom out about 30x. Just a great camera. It has the night shot capability, which is why I bought it. And, I'm very pleased with it. Just look at this imagery in infrared. Just incredible. Here you can faintly see some mountain ranges way in the distance. Adjusting contrast really helps you. Look at that. Can you see that? You know, this imagery really doesn't compare with what NASA is showing in their infrared images. The surface just doesn't have the curvature they show. You know? It's like, are they misrepresenting curvature? I don't know. This footage really incredible. It's making me kind of rethink stuff. You know, I don't want to say the Earth is flat, but man, this flat Earth phenomenon. There's a phenomena here that lets us see way in the distance. And we need to figure out why that is. That's the Grand Canyon. Yeah, look at that. There's the mountain range way out there. I just adjusting contrast and I'm zooming in more on that. Just look at that. Oh my goodness, just look at that. Wow. Just wow, you know. Wow. And I have goosebumps. What does this mean? You know, our globe theory explains so much. It's like, you don't want to throw that out either. Seems like there's two realities. We look up and the motion of the planets, the sun, moon, you know, stars lead us to believe we're part of an infinite universe in a solar system. And that's what the supernatural beings want us to believe if we're captive inside a dome. Because when we look down, it appears we're in a flat world. Everybody's got to make up their own mind, but this is strange. Anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed these infrared video clips. They're really incredible. So what does all this mean, folks? I'm going to leave you with this image here extracted from the clips. You know, are there two realities when we look up? You know, are we led to believe we're in a solar system? You know, yet when we look down, it appears we're on a flat Earth model. I mean, if the Almighty put us in some sort of a, you know, enclosure and built a firmament, you know, anybody that can build such an extensive firmament, if you will, you know, they wouldn't be building a shabby, you know, backdrop, you know, painted or something. It could be something, you know, really futuristic, a holographic backdrop with even, you know, asteroids and meteors thrown in or comets. I mean, you know, it could be something really fancy, you know. You know, philosophically, I have kind of hard time believing that puts God in a bad light, as if he's trying to deceive us in a way. Kind of like the infinite universe. But I don't know, there's philosophical questions here. But for right now, I'm thinking maybe when we look up, we're led to believe one thing, so we have one model for